Wonderful.
Ahmed Bola Tinubu is going to represent us in the next year's election.
2023 presidential election. Tinubu Shetima ticket is mandate with destiny. Buhari assures Nigerians flags of campaign in Jos.
The promotion and preservation of cultural sites, forests, natural life.
Redefine tourism to meet contemporary global realities. Oshibajo task industry chiefs.
And based on what they call the agreements that were in existence, asking to enforce what they think are their rights.
Plus, ASU goes for another legal battle, challenges registration of new trade union. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Henry John and we're live in Abuja. Adeola Komiakere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. Just to let you know that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.nj/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on your screen for updates. Politics leads tonight as the governing All Progressives Congress has formally launched its presidential campaign with a clear message to Nigerians not to relinquish the nation's destiny to those who have nothing to offer. President Muhammadu Buhari, who flagged off the exercise in Jos, Plateau State, made a strong case for the election of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as next president so that the country can further advance in shared prosperity for sustainable future. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
It was a massive demonstration of love, support, solidarity, and acceptability for the governing APC as the Tinubu Shetima presidential campaign team, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, arrives Ruangpang Stadium, Jos Plateau State. The mission here is to solicit support for the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria. President Buhari at various times described the candidate as not only visionary and patriotic, but one best capable of articulating and implementing the wise policies needed towards advancing the nation's greatness. Nigeria, he always maintained, needs a man like Tinubu, whom he believes truly knows the way.
Ahmed Bola Tinubu is going to represent us in the next year's election. We only come here to show our biggest support for him, and we are going to campaign for him throughout this country. And wish us, that is all of us members of this party, the best of luck in the next year's election.
The APC presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, takes pride in the quality and quantity of the work done so far by the Buhari administration, thereby setting a firm and durable foundation for national growth and development. Such worthy legacies, he promised, will be sustained and improved upon with his renewed Hope 16-point action plan aimed at providing equality of opportunity, social justice, security, and prosperity for all.
We our commitment to progressive good government. February 2023. It's more than an election. It is a right to define the soul of the nation and to determine our collective fate.
APC National Chairman Senator Abdullahi Adamu and other speakers who delivered messages of goodwill were unanimous that the governing APC truly represent the best hope for good governance as well as steering Nigeria towards achieving its purpose.
I serve notice here and now that we in the APC are in the race to win at all levels.
Those who want to compete against us have nothing to say. Mr. President, you are a hero of infrastructural development in Nigeria. Our next president will build on that.
It is all about the younger generation. It is all about the youth. It is all about generations yet unborn.
President Buhari later presented the party's flag to the candidate to formally flag off the 2023 presidential campaign with a promise to remain at the forefront until victory is achieved for the Tinubu-Shetima ticket. The president had earlier on arrival in the Home of Peace and Tourism paid a courtesy visit to the Plateau State Council of Traditional Rulers led by the Gbongwonjos, Da Jacob Geng Buba, where he restated commitment to free, fair, peaceful and credible elections.
My aim is to make Nigerians understand that we respect them as Nigerians. We are making some progress and we thank God for that.
I want to say good luck in your mission and God bless Nigeria.
The Gbongwonjos appreciated the president for his impactful leadership as well as the National Honors Award bestowed on him and other worthy indigents of Plateau State. From Jos, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And as Nigerians prepare to choose next set of leaders in 2023, attention should be paid to leaders who are ready to take responsibility. This was the thrust of the lecture delivered by the Minister of Works, Babatunde Raji Fashola, at the Epiphany Azinge Foundation 2022 Annual Lecture in Abuja. Austin Ayebe reports.
The lecture brought together people from different walks of life with different political ideologies who came to be part of the lecture series which discussed leadership and service to humanity as convened by the President, Commonwealth Secretariat, Arbitration Tribunal, London, Professor Epiphany Azinge. Babatunde Raji Fashola was the guest lecturer who believes that as the population increases, Nigeria needs an innovative leader who can evolve strategies to solve problems as being done by the present government.
We will have a most significant, enduring, and impactful conversation about the choices open to us in the forthcoming elections. This conversation will be a most welcome departure from the conversation about personality, about ethnicity, and certainly about religion. It will be a conversation about ideas.
Other speakers, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, described choice of the topic at this period. Nigerians prepare for transition as apt.
Whatever you do, however much you enforce it by force, legacies will stand the test of time.
We need somebody of courage, somebody of vision, somebody of competence and character. We need somebody who will be fearless in taking decisions and vital decisions. That is the kind of person we need.
The kind of leaders we need are leaders who will put the interests of the nation above every other consideration.
The lecture was aimed at drawing the attention of leaders to what is expected of them in service to humanity when they are given opportunity to lead. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Heading to Egypt now, President Muhammadu Buhari is requesting the inclusion of Nigeria as the largest economy in Africa in the G7 Climate Partnerships list for the co-creation of a just energy transition partnership. The request is contained in Nigeria's national statement presented at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, 27th Conference of the Parties in Egypt. On NTA, Fineface brings us details.
Nigeria is currently grappling with devastating effects of terrible flooding, which is said to have affected 3.2 million persons, with 600 lives lost, 100,000 persons displaced, and hectares of farmlands destroyed. Nigeria, and indeed the rest of Africa, from the Sahara to the Cape, is living with increasing fear of food insecurity as a result of the floods. Presented by the Minister of Environment, the national statement estimates the economic cost for loss and damage for Africa at $2 trillion, excluding non-economic losses.
At COP26 in Glasgow, I announced Nigeria's commitment to net zero by 2060 on the basis of a detailed energy transition plan. This plan highlights the significant scale of resources required to attain both development and climate ambitions by 2060. However, the public finance urgently needed to fund energy transitions and climate action is lacking.
Consequently, Nigeria is taking bold steps to pioneer innovative climate finance instruments such as debt for climate swaps and championing the development of the African Carbon Market Initiative.
We have made significant progress in creating the enabling policies and incentives to advance a short list of priority projects, including renewable solar independent power plants.
Nigeria and the rest of Africa calls for an effective and sustainable framework that will address the socio-economic effects of energy transition, including energy poverty, loss of jobs and livelihoods. In Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, on NTA, Fineface, NTA News.
Back home, President Muhammadu Buhari has tasked delegates to the ongoing UNWTO Global Conference holding in Lagos to come up with resolutions that will define the future of tourism in line with modern realities. The president's task was contained in a message to the conference. Anthony Pawson reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, was emphatic on how the sector's narratives can be changed for the better.
Modern takes, modern cinematography, and loads of hit songs written and sung by Nigerians and by other Africans. They were here last week. I'm sure that Lagos recognized that they showed up here last week for the African premiere of that movie. That an African premiere was held here in Africa, that an African premiere was held at all for any movie is an important statement all by itself. And I think that we should always remember to commend all of these great young men and women who are doing such great things, unifying Africa and unifying the world in the process.
Emphasizing that the vast components of tourism are local and homegrown, they are more likely to be sustainable.
And the promotion and preservation of cultural sites, forests, natural life, and aquaculture for tourism purposes works well with our zero carbon ambition. So when we teach a whole new generation to love and respect our beaches, love and respect our forests, and at the same time, we create jobs and livelihoods in doing so. We are actually achieving the perfect balance that would enable us to long enjoy God's endowments in nature.
Pointing at Nigeria's creative industries, where Nigerian music is rendered in Nigerian languages, are played all over the world, just as Nigerian movies are breaking box office records. It is a pointer that Africans at home and in the diaspora are excelling. He, however, commended UNWTO for the confidence in Nigeria and her ability to host the conference. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed noted that the hosting of the conference is an affirmation of Nigeria's position as a trusted business hub and a safe harbor for capital talent and intellectual property.
This conference is very important in the history of the UNWTO and Nigeria because it marks the very first time that the organization in a single forum is bringing together the three interlinked sectors of tourism, culture, and the creative industries to highlight their fundamental importance as effective tools for inclusive development and drivers of sustainable growth.
On key goals of the conference, the minister said it will bring to the fore sustainable solutions and innovative policies for the development and enhancing the potentials of the sector.
I am really excited about this conference and its deliverables in highlighting and promoting these interlinked sectors that are sustainable and inclusive.
Each time we get great interest and wonderful ideas from across Africa, including from Nigeria. When I was telling about designers and chefs, etc., also we have lots of entrepreneurs today here, lots of enterprises and private sector represent the digitalization, which is very important part. I mean, we put many things together in these 3 days, and I'm sure that the outcome of this conference will be great as never.
Another key area the conference will concentrate on is how to promote intra-Africa travels and tourism, leveraging on vast and unique resources as well as its population. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA.
In other news, the National Council on Privatization has approved a governance framework for the development of a $3 billion plant in Makurdi, Benue State. This was one of the highlights of the meeting of the council, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The development of the project will proceed through the public-private partnership arrangement when complied with all laws and the Public Procurement Act. The project will be the first of its kind in the country and is expected to generate 1,650 megawatts of power. This is NTA Network News. Time for a break. Please stay.
Committed to the unity of our great country, Nigeria. Let us support our armed forces. Let us stand together with them. Let us stand for them. Our symbol of unity, the gallant men and women of the armed forces on land, air, and sea, who have continuously put their life on the line, protecting our lives, humanity, and nation.
Let us join them and stick together as one, irrespective of our misunderstanding, be it political, cultural, or ideological.
Our uniqueness is our oneness, our strength is our diversity.
Let us stand by, stand with, and support our armed forces to keep this nation together.
Nigeria is my own. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is our own.
His Excellency Nyesom Ezenwawike, CON, GSSRS, Life Venture, the Infrastructure Governor, cordially invites the general public to the official commissioning of the Rumo Precom flyover, initiated and completed by the Wiki's administration. The Rumo Precom flyover is 820 meters long, changing the skyline of that axis of the state and easing vehicular movement on Ada George Road. The project will be commissioned on Wednesday, 16th November 2022 by His Excellency Adams Oshomole, former governor of Edo State, at at 11 a.m. You're welcome, Your Excellency, and all invited guests. Announcer Chris Pinebone, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communications.
His Royal Highness Dr. Najib Hussaini Adamu, CON, the 10th Emir of Kazauri, cordially invites the general public to the turbaning ceremony of Ambassador Lawal Abdullahi Kazauri, Ord Meredo Niger, OFR, as Dan Masani Kazauri, and the wedding Fatiha of Hafsa Lawal Abdullahi, Muna Uwara, and Ibrahim Tijani Ibrahim Mubarak, scheduled to take place as follows. Date, Friday 18th November 2022. Venue, Kazaure Emir's Palace, Kazaure, Jigawa State. Time, 11 a.m. prompt. For more details, contact Usman Bello, Protocol Liaison Officer, State House, Abuja on 0803-638-1880 or 0817-596-3121. You are welcome.
I'm about to serve better breakfast.
If you're in Lagos, you need to see this.
I'm not just streaming content, I'm just escaping traffic.
Get more data to enjoy exclusive content. Dial *141# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Every healthy family needs the right amount of energy to start their day, but something for breakfast's splendid blend of nutritious multigrains? Big Wahala. With the new Kellogg's Gold Grain cereal, you don't have to go through all of that. So now, your mornings can look like this.
Go, 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 Gold Grains. Love the goodness of its multigrain. With protein and creamy tasty Kellogg's Gold Grains.
With vitamins and minerals in Kellogg's Gold Grains.
Go, 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 Gold Grains. Love the goodness of its multigrain.
Kellogg's Gold Grain is a breakfast cereal fortified with vitamins and minerals from the goodness of multigrains like maize, guinea corn, rice, and soya. Kellogg's Gold Grain.
Welcome back. As the state's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program for Results winds down, states will receive the last tranche of $1.5 billion performance-based grants in the coming weeks. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed this at a dinner organized by the ministry with the World Bank for the celebration of the state's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program achievements and presentation of awards to best performing states. Leah Katung Babatunde has the report.
The state's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability SIFTES program for results is a brainchild of the federal government. Together with the World Bank, $1.5 billion has so far been committed as grants to states for meeting eligibility criteria from the 2018 fiscal year. The primary objective of the program is to instill a common set of fiscal behavior and standards and facilitate the widespread adoption of good practices in fiscal and public financial management across the states while respecting their fiscal autonomy. These good practices include preparation of citizen-based budgets, timely preparation and publication of annual budgets and audited financial statements, as well as adoption of National Chart of Accounts, amongst other disbursement links indicators.
In the next few weeks, your state will receive the last tranche of performance-based grants, including including the 1 billion naira withheld by the central bank through naira exchange deficit.
Over the last several years, budget is presented and passed by the National Assembly is a step that has been complemented by our National Assembly, and they also deserve commendation.
Though the performance full results grant is closing, the technical assistance component will continue to be delivered by implementing agencies and partners till June 2030, when the program will finally wind down.
Initially, it was a bit slow taking up, but then it has really blossomed to where every state has really embraced this program.
As part of the events at the Nigerian Economic Summit, awards were presented to best performing states in the successive annual performance assessments conducted over the last 3 years of SIFTA's existence, along with the technical partners. In Abuja, Leah Katumbabatunde, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, Abuja Division, has questioned the validity of the evidence presented by Academic Staff Union of Universities, challenging the registration of new trade unions for tertiary institutions. Olabode Arewa reports that the matter is one of the 4 similar cases instituted under industrial action between ASU and the federal government.
Following the recent interlocutory order of the National Industrial Court Abuja, which ordered ASU members to return to the classroom, the Court of Appeal had equally ordered them to comply with the order pending the appeal against it. However, the substantive matter between ASU and the federal government came up in court, wherein ASU prayed the court to order the federal government to honor previous agreements on universities funding. Acting within his powers under the Trade Union Act, the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, registered 2 new university trade unions. ASU has now filed another suit, praying the court to caution the government on its alleged threats to deregister ASU, along with a prayer by ASU for the 2 new university trade unions to be deregistered.
The SERAP itself asking the court to set aside the referral, asking to enforce what they think are their rights in that case.
Said they were not in receipt of our counter affidavit to their notice of primary objection.
The suit, filed by Social and Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has been adjourned to December 13, the same date that the other cases are to be heard. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Away from the courtroom, heading to the National Assembly now, the House of Representatives Committee investigating joint venture operations and production sharing contract has alleged that oil companies operating in Nigeria have enjoyed capital allowance running into billions of dollars, despite not being in possession of certificate of acceptance of fixed assets. This action, the committee says, runs afoul of the law. National Assembly correspondent Sulami Ali reports that this came up during the investigative hearing by the committee.
The committee has, in the last couple of weeks, been engaging stakeholders to find out why the oil companies have been shortchanging Nigeria by receiving capital allowance when they do not possess CAFA certificates issued by the Ministry of Trade and Investment.
Virtually all oil companies in Nigeria do not have the CAFA certificate, and they are enjoying capital allowance, which amounts to billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, things that they cannot do in their counties they are doing in Nigeria.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service, it added, has made public all guidelines on the issue.
That it only required to manufacturing is erroneous, it's not correct, and you need to be properly advised, because the FIRS even made that publication public.
The committee vowed that it will, at the end of the investigation, ensure recovery of all tax due to Nigeria in the oil and gas sector. In another development, the House Committee on Public Procurement says the Bureau of public procurement must be adequately funded to enable it to have in place a database of all federal contractors. The 58 million naira allocated to the Bureau for Capital Project for 2023, it says, is inadequate considering its responsibility of surveillance and monitoring of projects.
The only losers in this situation when an agency like this is underfunded is Nigeria as a whole. Yes. It is not just the agency, but it's Nigeria and Nigerians as a whole.
The Public Procurement Act 2007 mandates the Bureau to introduce, develop, update, and maintain adequate technological innovation at achieving transparent, fair, competitive, and value for money practices for the procurement and disposal of public assets and services.
The Bureau's allocation for capital is less than what was approved for 2022. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The federal government is recruiting more manpower in developing the vocational industry and advancing homegrown approach to imported skills. Man Musa reports that at the center of this innovative solution is the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, with Plaster of Paris in focus.
Federal government is fast gaining track in its agenda of uplifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Now, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, is working towards achieving this target through vocational skills. To demonstrate this bold step, hundreds of youths are being trained in Plaster of Paris in Nasarawa for economic empowerment.
This program is in the first phase of North Central Regional Skill Development Program of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, as part of the implementation of directives of President Muhammadu Buhari to the agency on development of capacity of Nigerian youths in various trades to ensure skills acquisition for job creation and self-employment.
As part of efforts to spread the tentacles, NASENI has performed a block laying ceremony of vocational skill hub in Gwantu, Kaduna State, for sustainability and progress. From Gwantu, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the benevolence of the federal government under its Government Enterprise Empowerment Program 2.0 has reached Yobe State, with more than 1,000 beneficiaries smiling to the banks after receiving checks of 50,000 naira each as soft loans. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, says the initiative is part of measures adopted towards eradicating poverty in the country. Yunusa Suleiman completes the story.
I was given the sum of 50,000 naira and I will use it to boost my recharge card business. This testimony by Garba Mohammed, a 25-year-old physically challenged, explains the inclusive nature of the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program 2.0, which ensures financial inclusiveness through interest-free loans to all categories of people in Nigeria. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, represented, explains that the trader money, market money and farmer money are products of GIP 2.0, the components of National Social Investment Program, which has
the state government's from there we disburse. This grant will definitely assist the people of Yobe State. We thank the Honorable Minister for pursuing to see that this support has been given to the people of Yobe State.
Similarly, the Humanitarian Affairs Minister has also flagged up the Grant for Vulnerable Groups program in the state with the disbursement of 20,000 naira cash to hundreds of beneficiaries with the aim of sustaining social inclusion agenda of the current administration in the country. The program is targeting about 4,000 poorest and most vulnerable persons in the state. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria is set to eliminate gas flaring by 2030 and transit from fossil fuel to renewable energy to curb the challenges of climate change and its consequences on the economy. Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Koluokiari, gave this indication in a lecture at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru. Biokusu Nuhu has the details.
In a lecture titled Nigeria's Path to Just Energy Transition, the NNPC boss says Nigeria must tour the path of transition from the consumption of fossil fuel, which has triggered climate changes across the globe, and embrace renewable energy, which is in abundance in the country. He notes that the world is evolving in the aspect of energy use and consumption, and Nigeria should also join in the move for prosperity.
We have seen the terrible impact, even as recent as what we saw around Lokoja in the Niger Delta flooding, and in very many states in the country. So this is real, and that's the impact of climate change. But what it really means is that we have to take decisive action as countries, as companies, towards making sure that that impact is minimized. And this is the meaning of the transition, so that we can transit to much cleaner fuel.
Director General NIPS, Professor Ayo Omotayo, says the lecture is apt as it will afford the senior executive course participants to come up with solutions and policies that will improve the sector.
And of course, we also heard him announcing an endowment of 500 million naira for the next 5 years to enable NIPS, enable us conduct deeper research and engagement in the Nigerian energy sector.
This lecture has built back our confidence. I am very sure all of us here that we still have hope in Nigeria.
There were question and answer session by the participants on the transition process, the effect of climate change on the country, among other issues. In Jos, Bilkisu Nuhu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari condemns the killing of a traditional ruler of the Obudiagwa community in Oguta local government area of Imo State, Eze, Ignatius Aso, and others. The president directs security agencies in the state to thoroughly investigate the dastardly act and ensure that the perpetrators face the full wrath of the law. While commiserating with family, friends, the Obudiagwa community, as well as all those affected by the attack, the president prays for the speedy recovery of those injured. President Buhari acknowledges the efforts by the state government at improving security situation in Imo. It's time to pause here in Abuja and let Adiola feed us with more news from Lagos. Adiola, it's over to you. All right, we'll take a break now. The news continues shortly.
It's goodness to go round. Introducing the Peak Yogurt Drink 1 liter Full House Pack with more refreshment, which contains fresh cow milk. Enjoy Full House goodness filled with essential vitamin and minerals. Peak, reach for your peak.
Looking fresh for your date? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh. Protected and fresh. Protected and fresh. Picture. Protected and fresh. Still fresh. Still protected. Feeling cool and protected. All day confidence to get close. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
In a third final in 20 years.
Simply out of this world. Yes, a Go TV decoder, Go Tenor, and 1 month max subscription for only 6,900 naira. Watch all the 64 games live from Qatar on Go TV Super.
Welcome back. Adiola wasn't ready before that break, but she's ready now. Adiola, feed us with the latest from Lagos.
Welcome to Lagos. The increase in education tax from 2.2 to 2.5% is already upscaling intervention fund for tertiary institutions in the of stimulating development of a sector while equally expanding the education tax net to attain the projected 500 billion naira by 2025. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service are deepening discussions with stakeholders with an appeal to meet up demands. Michael Olaleye reports.
The Education Tax Fund is the case of an obligation that comes before opportunity. But in 2021, a 16 billion naira shortfall in collection did not only pose a serious challenge to the intervention, but also affected project implementation for beneficiary institutions. There is now optimism in the sky, with 309 billion naira already on the table, despite having more months for tax collection. But since the development of the education system depends largely on effective collection, then it is the duty of this interactive forum to fashion out a strategy.
Investing companies with the FRS.
The Executive Secretary of Tax Fund believes its partnership with FIRS in boosting tax collection will help to promote solid platform for more interventions.
Our current focus is on the content elements, promoting research and getting the actual impact of research in our national economy. We want to promote employability of our graduates.
In the last 2 years, the FIRS says it has been funding a significant portion of the Federal Account Allocation Committee with tax, contributing up to 60%. And this trend will be sustained by capitalizing on the launch of Service Charter and enhanced tax administration system.
FIRS is applying the provision of tax laws. We are applying also rules, regulation, policies, and directives and practices to achieve our mandate of boosting tax revenue collection in order to achieve and surpass tax revenue collection targets being set by the federal government every year.
While the quest to attain the 500 billion naira education tax collection by 2025 continues, the impetus for Tax Fund is that there is now a self-sustaining mechanism for boosting its safety nets when it comes to advancing growth across tertiary institutions in Nigeria. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
A group initiative for fostering unity in diversity, youth and nation building has unveiled a new reality show tagged Niger Unity House to promote national unity. The president of the group, Mr. Kletus Evudagi, stated this at the launch of the program in Lagos.
It is often said that Nigerians have not House, according to the organizer, is to provide the missing link in our quest to become one united, indivisible nation. The reality show would bring 37 young Nigerians drawn from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory together and house them for 60 days to interact and exchange ideas on diverse culture.
Read and try together to recite in the Unity House for 60 days. The rationale is to instill the values and cultures of tolerance and difference for one another, regardless of our diversity.
We need to collectively work positively for the unity of this country. Like I said again, I reiterate my commitment
to this country, and I still remain in Nigeria, and I'm sure it requires all of us to work together to bring about the unity of this country and also for the country to come.
From different states, from the 36 states and one from the Federal Capital Territory, to come and represent Nigeria in a house, to foster our unity and to bring together this plan on how to develop our country in Nigeria.
There was also the launch of the book that highlighted the importance of unity in diversity. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Inyere is back to you for more on Network News.
Many thanks, Adiola. We head to Bauchi now, where it has been stated that unity, dedication and patriotism are the major tasks ahead of the All Progressives Congress to emerge victorious at all levels in the 2023 general elections. APC gubernatorial candidate for Bauchi State, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, made this statement while inaugurating the party's presidential campaign council for Bauchi State. Muazu Hassan reports.
Bauchi State APC Presidential Campaign Council, inaugurated by Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, comprises two former governors of the state, Isa Yuguda and Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, Minister of Education Adamu, former and serving members of the National and State Assemblies, top party officials, among others. The APC gubernatorial candidate Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, while inaugurating the Presidential Campaign Council for the state, stressed the importance of unity among candidates of the party at all levels to ensure victory of the party.
Tunda dukiyoyin kasar gaba daya daga can yake so. Saboda yana da muhimmanci ku sa ido a duka zaben da za
To facilitate the mobilization toward achieving victory of the party, 20 cars were presented to 3 senatorial coordinators of the campaign council, 12 federal constituencies, 3 zonal offices and state office of the party in Bauchi. Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
We head to Rivers now, where the government has made good its promise with the inauguration of the Clinical and Basic Clinical Sciences Building for College of Medical Sciences, Rivers State University. The inauguration was performed by the Chairman, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Professor Abba Hassan, in Port Harcourt. Ogedi Inyekwere reports.
Success of students and the effectiveness of a teacher or lecturer's lesson to a great extent could be determined by the quality of the learning facilities provided by the authorities. To this end, the Rivers State government has continued to do its best by providing infrastructure in the educational sector of the state. With the inauguration of faculty building for clinical and basic clinical sciences, the delivery of better education to the students is enhanced.
What you see in other things, what you are seeing here. So you must count yourself to be lucky that you came at the time when you will not say, we don't have laboratory, we don't have this, we don't have that. You have everything now.
Chairman, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Professor Abba Hassan, remarked that Rivers State government has invested greatly in education, especially the College of Medical Sciences of the Rivers State University.
These investments have been put by your government again, certainly provide facility for high quality medical and dental training for indigenes, not only of the Rivers State, but for Nigeria.
Other speakers at the event commended the Rivers State government for the zeal in ensuring that quality medical personnel are trained in the state. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Inyekwere, NTA News.
And on the Nigerian Economic Summit, vote for the candidate of your choice was the message of President Muhammadu Buhari to the closing ceremony of the 28th edition of the Nigerian Economic Summit, laying credence to his commitment for continuous reforms in the public sector. Leah Katungbabatunde reports that the president was represented by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari.
any concentration of people that will be the third largest in the world cannot be ignored. So we cannot be ignored. But at the same time, we have to plan, we have to grow the economy, we have to diversify the economy in ways that will make it possible for our people at that time to have the benefit of all the resources that the Almighty has bestowed on this country.
Global population has peaked at 8 million and Nigeria is projected to rank third most populous nation after India and China by the year 2050. Planning for inclusive growth and development is crucial, and for President Muhammadu Buhari, getting the fundamentals right is a priority for his administration. Declaring the 28th edition of the Nigeria Economic Summit close, Professor Ibrahim Gambari assured participants of the President's resolve to leave Nigeria better than how he met it by securing, growing and diversifying the economy.
Apart from emphasizing the process of choosing a leader through free and fair and credible election, which President Buhari is committed, leadership, yes, but we must not forget that to move the country forward, to promote shared prosperity, which is the theme of this year's summit, we also need shared understanding. So we have to also develop shared responsibility and above all, shared commitment.
As the curtains draw, outcomes from sessions have been compiled and will be presented to the Federal Executive Council. In Abuja, today, NTA News.
For more business news, let's join Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Nyere. And we are still talking about the Nigerian Economic Summit, where economic actors at the 28th Nigerian Economic Summit are unanimous on the fact that attracting foreign direct investment, stable commodity prices, and forex are recipes to achieving growth and development. These were pathways suggested at the summit's interactive session on monetary policy management in challenging times.
So the central bank certainly needs to do the mopping up. But when it has difficulty and the instruments are not necessarily all there, then liquidity tends to be larger in the economy, and it's probably going to press prices.
In my view, the impact of any change in exchange rate policy on the effectiveness of the exchange rate regime on the key actors of the exchange rate process is more important than the policy review.
Products from abroad, we're able to manufacture them here. Then we conserve our forex, and then at the same time increasing our exports. That will bring a balance to the economy.
And taking a look at the market, investors' Nigeria securities market lost about 5 billion naira on Tuesday, as the market decreased by 0.02% at the close of trading. A total of 103.4 million shares in 3,045 deals, corresponding to a market value of 1.186 billion naira, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 45% decline in volume, 53% decline in turnover, and 8% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 23.9 trillion naira. FBN Holdings recorded the highest volume of 11.4 million traded shares, followed by Transcorp Nigeria 11.3 million, Fidelity Bank 10.3 million, and Access Holdings 8.73 million shares. That is business news. Nyere, it's nice doing business with you.
Many thanks, Benny, for that update. And of course, doing business will require safety on our roads. And that leads us to the next report, where the Acting Co-Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Ali Biu, is advocating enforcement of the existing traffic safety laws and severe punishment for road traffic offenders. This was at the commemoration of the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
It was killed because the person who knocked him down refused to stop.
President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dogban Mensah, recounting how her first son died of road accidents 11 years ago. Samson Dogban was a law graduate with an aspiration of being one of the brightest judges in the country. But this was cut short in a tragic accident.
My son bled to death through the 2 broken legs.
Samson's case is just one out of over 1.35 million global deaths recorded yearly from road accidents, with many of the culprits still walking freely.
We hope for an improved justice system for road traffic offenders and victims of road traffic crashes.
When a set law is broken, there should be consequences. And these consequences should be prompt, decisive, and proportional.
The theme for this year's World Day on Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims is tagged Justice, with more emphasis on proper and better justice for road accident victims.
Many traffic safety laws exist in Nigeria, but their enforcement must be improved upon so as to boost the compliance level.
We do not want more victims to remember. We want to live our lives together with them.
As rates are laid, the likes of Justice Mensem are still in search for justice, as the acting corps marshal calls for a concerted effort in ensuring safety on Nigerian roads, beside the availability of well-equipped trauma centers to counsel victims of road traffic accidents and their loved ones. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Let's have a bit of sports now with Olumide Eguntola as our guide.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria continued their build-up ahead of an international friendly match with their counterparts from Portugal. The match is slated for Lisbon on Thursday as the Eagles continue various training sessions under the watchful eyes of coach Jose Pacero. Similarly in handball, Nigeria's male under-18 and under-20 national teams are preparing to take part in the International Handball Federation Tournament 2022. The competition is scheduled for November 21st in Côte d'Ivoire. Camped in Lagos, some of the players invited were involved in the just concluded 2022 Prudent Energy Handball Premier League. In golf, Gloria Mbaguta of Uganda has been crowned champion of the Koyi Club Ladies 2022.
This year's Open, the unique one, is something that is outstanding. We haven't had it this good.
Candy Agu smiled home with Bronze Winner Prize Day 3, among many others that won different prizes. From Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola reports that Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has received the symbolic touch of unity ahead of the forthcoming National Sport Festival, tagged Delta 2022. Represented by Deputy, the State Governor will assure Nigerians of continuous support for sports.
Double efforts and ensure that we win more laurels than we did the last time.
The festival is scheduled for November 28th to December 10th in Asaba, Delta State. With sponsor update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
All right, with sports done, let's now have a quick check at the weather outlook for Wednesday.
Welcome. My name is Joyce Ogunleye with the weather forecast for Wednesday. The north and central cities are expected to be dry, sunny and hazy throughout the forecast period. Although a few places around Katsina, Kano, some parts of Jigawa and Zamfara are likely to observe reduction in horizontal visibility. And again, people living in and around the northern areas are expected to watch out for lots of sunshine. We expect to see patches of clouds with some sunny spells over the inland cities of the southern areas. Chances of morning thunderstorms are expected to parts of Cross Rivers and Akwa Ibom in the morning. Better build-up in the afternoon is expected to give rise to some thunderstorms over parts of Rivers, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, some parts of Cross Rivers and Delta states. Now let's take a look at the air quality index and the weather forecast across the nation. Thank you for staying tuned.
Many thanks, Joyce, for that update. And that concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Just a quick reminder, that you too can be a star by standing against rape and rapists. I'm Henry John. Have a good night.